Praise the Lord, everyone. This is Evangelist Walesa Norris, and I am coming to you guys today with my message of today. And my message of today is trust His plan and not your pain. Now, I do know that is more easier said than done, right? When we are going through disappointments, setbacks, and betrayals from people we would least expect, from situations we would have never thought we would be a part of or be in, right? You have to trust that God allows everything to happen in your life for a reason, especially if you are praying to God that you are trying to do the right thing in your life, right? And you're treating people fair, but you keep coming up against or keep going into hard situations, people coming up against you, right? And you don't understand. We may not understand everything God allows us to go through while we're going through it, right? But you have to trust it's all part of a bigger plan and purpose for your life. We will never become the people who God created us to be if we never went through certain situations or setbacks or certain disappointments, right? We would never go after our dreams, our goals. We would never seek God in some cases, right? Because some people are not born into the belief of God, right? Or go to church, right? Some people had to seek God because of all the difficulties that they faced and things coming against them to find out why, right? And that's when God reveals to you little by little part of His plan. Now, you are going to be in some painful situations. It don't matter how good you are or how bad you are, right? Everyone gets good and bad happening to them, but you have to keep your faith and continue to work on your ways and trust God even when you don't understand, because it's all a part of a plan. Now, I get this from the book of Genesis. When you read the story of Joseph, right? He told his brothers that he had a dream, that God gave him a dream that they would bow down to him one day, right? They were so furious that he told them his dream. And sometimes that happens to us, right? We think we can trust certain people or they will be happy for us, and we let them know, hey, I think I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna start a business, I'm gonna get married, or I'm gonna buy a house, or whatever it is that you might tell people that you think you can trust that should be happy for you, right? And then they devise a wicked, evil scheme against you, right? Or they start discrediting you. This is what happened to Joseph. This is why I say you need to trust God's plan and not your pain. So Joseph didn't understand why his brothers got mad, because he told them, man, God gave me a dream, right, that one day y'all will bow down to me. Not only did God favor him, right, and gave him the dream of who he will become, his father Jacob favored him, right, by making him a coat that had all these colors, and that signal, right, that was a sign that he was the favorite. The brothers didn't like him at all, right, so they devised a plan to get rid of him, right. Now, they wanted to kill him, but they had this one brother named Reuben, reminds me of my brother Cuban, right, that decided, no, we shouldn't kill our brother, right? What good is that going to make? But then there was another brother, Judah, said, you know what, maybe we should sell him to these traders, right? Because we'll make more money if we sell him instead of killing him. They threw him in a wheel, right? They stripped him out of his coat of many colors. Now, we know he had to feel devastated, like, man, this is my own family. I come to and tell them that God gave me this dream that one day that they will bow down to me. And maybe he didn't look at it like they would get jealous, right? Because he knew in his heart that he would automatically share with them whatever God had gave him, right? But they didn't see it like that, right? They felt like, oh, who are you to tell us that you're going to be favored and you're going to be in position? So what do that leaves us? Not knowing that God had their own plan for their lives if they would have followed God, but they let envy and jealousy take over. And the plan still came to pass, right? After they sold him to these people, they decided that was traitors. They sent him to Egypt. Now, Joseph just could not catch a break, right? When he went to Egypt, God favored him and he got known by Potiphar, right? That was like the king in town. His wife was attracted to Joseph because Joseph was so handsome, right? She tried to throw herself on him. He denied having sex with her, right? Didn't want to have no dealings with her because he respected her husband so much. He knew that he was poor. His brothers had turned on him, and this man gave him a high position. He didn't want the man to be mad at him, right? He didn't want to lose his position, and he just had his morals and values because he knew God and he trusted God, right? Some people fall for temptation, but we know Joseph was not one of those ones, right? He was like, no, I'm going to do the right thing. I'm not sleeping with nobody else's wife, right? I can get my own wife. Why are you even coming at me like that? She got mad because he wouldn't come to her, have sex with her and sleep with her and be creeping with her. So she told her husband, he tried to force himself on me. So her husband put him in jail. But not knowing the whole plan, right? Joseph could have been like, now I'm in jail for doing the right thing, but God gave him the gift of interpreting dreams, right? So he was in there with somebody else that worked for even the Pharaoh at the time that was higher than Potiphar, right? And he told them their dreams. When they got out of jail, right, they did forget about him for a while, but then Potiphar had a dream and he didn't understand what it meant. So they remember Joseph, right? And God said he was favored in the prison, right? Nobody messed with him. He was like the favorite prisoner because he was nice. He was telling people their dreams, and whether it was good or bad, right, he was telling them what was going to happen to them when they get out. Because sometimes we do know some pain and some situations we go through, it was our own doing, right? Maybe we didn't know that speaking ill toward people all the time, plotting evil on them, always thinking bad about people, always finding a problem with different things, right, that you were only harming yourself. But this is what the Bible tells us, right? What you wish for others will one day happen to you. So if you always problematic, always finding a problem with somebody, always finding something wrong, that's what's going to end up happening to in your life, right? Negative things going to happen to you. People going to find problems with you, right? Nothing good is going to happen for you. And maybe you don't know that, right? That's because you have to change your thinking. You can't think negative, wish negative, be a negative person and think nothing but good and positivity is going to work out for you. It don't happen like that, right? Now, sometimes we are good people and we're not wishing negative and thinking negative on people, right? Now, sometimes, like I said, we're not perfect people, right? We do have our problems. We do voice our concerns about certain people, but when you finding a problem with everything and everybody, or particularly finding something wrong with somebody who did nothing to you, you just don't like them for no reason, right? And you constantly attacking them, just know all that negative energy and everything you speaking is coming back to you and from the ones you least expect, right? So that's how sometimes you have to be a fool to gain wisdom. Once you go through that experience, God wants you to change to say, I don't want to be this type of person, right? I want to be understanding. I want to be fair. I want to wish people well. If I don't like them, I'm just going to voice my opinion and leave them alone. But when you keep going after them, you only causing harm to yourself. But you wouldn't know this unless you read the Bible. So fast forward back to Joseph, right? When Potiphar heard that they had this guy in jail that can read dreams, he get Joseph out of jail, right? Joseph tell him his dream about this famine that's coming, and we need to, stock money and save food and certain stuff like that so we can be ready when the famine hit. And just like Joseph said, the famine hit, but he put Joseph in charge because Joseph told him what to do. When you have plenty, right, when you have much, don't overspend, don't overeat, right? Save a little because you never know when them hard times is coming. And the dream that you having is letting you know that hard times is coming, so we want to be prepared. Because he was so wise and he told him that, he said, Joseph, I'm going to put you over all the people and all my stock. You are a wise man. You just helped me out because I didn't have no idea that that's what that meant. So just like Joseph said, right, his brothers would come and bow down to him because the famine hit the whole country, right? They had to come from the land of Canaan all the way to Egypt to where Joseph was because they had plenty, right? They followed wisdom, right? They listened to Joseph and they had more for themselves and more to give out. So they was good people. If they saved and they know other people didn't save, they didn't judge them, right? They just like, we gonna help you out because we know how it is to be hungry and don't have much. But Joseph was in charge of that, helping the people out, giving them places to stay, giving them food, right? His brothers come to him. Now they didn't recognize him because he was so cleaned up. He was in charge, the leader, right? They had left him for dead. They remember him as the little brother. He had then grew up to be a handsome man, right? Very nice, polite, and in power. Now, he knew who they was, and they didn't know who he was. When he revealed who he was to them, right, they immediately got scared. Like, we attacked him. We left our brother for dead. We almost killed him, and we sold him into slavery, and this who he is. Just like he told them when he was a young boy, right? Y'all will bow down to me. But he didn't use his power for evil, right? They thought he was surely going to kill them or get back at them. He gave them a place to stay. He gave them food. He had tears in his eyes, but he had to have a whole different perspective, right? He said all of this happened, right, to complete the will of God. What y'all meant for me was for evil, but God meant it for good, right? So I can save the lives of many people for this moment right here. So I'm only speaking on Joseph, right, because we never know why we go through certain hard situations, and we would think when following God, everything would be easy, everything will be good. But God has to toughen you up, right? He has to strengthen your faith. He has to give you wisdom. And the only how you're going to learn wisdom and strengthen your faith and believe that God is real, right, by going through trouble, going through demonic attacks, being betrayed, going through setbacks, right? So you can be strong enough, so you can know that no weapon formed against you shall prosper, so you can know that God meant what they meant for evil, God meant it for good, just like he did in the life of Joseph. So trust God's plan and not your pain. That's my message. God bless.